Today we are going to discuss about biofertilizers. What are biofertilizers? Biofertilizers, bio represents living. Fertilizers are the chemicals. Actually, biofertilizers are the living organisms, especially microorganisms, which can have the capacity to fix atmospheric nitrogen. So before discussing in detail about biofertilizers, let us know what is the role of biofertilizers in organic farming. Actually, the modern agricultural practices are very intensive, which may result in the imbalance of all nutrients in the soil in due course of time. So when we add chemical fertilizers, what happens to the soil? If we keep on adding these chemical fertilizers to the soil, it just accumulated in the soil for a long time. So these cannot be taken up by the plants. Hence, this is a time for switch over to this type of biofertilizers. And it not only affects the microbial ecology but also fertilizer efficiency. What is this microbial ecology? Since we know very well, this soil contains a microbial population which consists of all types of microorganisms which are very essential for the plant nutrients present in the soil available to the plants too. So when this microbial population is influenced by the addition of chemical fertilizers, we should take utmost care of maintaining this microbial ecology. Then when we use this chemical fertilizers for a long time process, it leads to reduction in the crop yield. Then this use of biofertilizers nowadays is gaining more interest because it is very cheap, very safe, and this is a most suitable alternative to chemical fertilizers because biofertilizers does not cause any harm to any of the microorganisms which will have a very quiet and peaceful and harmony with the nature. And it has a significant role in plant nutrients as a supplementary as well as complementary factor to the mineral nutrition. Since these biofertilizers are nothing but microorganisms which have the capacity to fix atmospheric nitrogen, and also unavailable form of mineral nutrients will become an available form. Next, it is eco-friendly in nature and it is cheaper and very low cost, non-bulky and agricultural input. Biofertilizers are living cells of different types of microorganisms, I told. So what are the different types of microorganisms which can come under this biofertilizers? Nitrogen fixing microorganisms and phosphate solubilizing microorganisms and other types of blue-green algae which can be utilized as a biofertilizer. The role of biofertilizers is conversion of unavailable form of minerals into an available form. Normally, the soil contains a different proportion of nitrogen, phosphate, nitrogen in the form of nitrate, nitrite, ammonia and phosphate, iron, etc. Mostly they are in unavailable form. The blue-green algae and number of bacteria have done this beautiful job of converting all these unavailable form of minerals into available form. Next is, it plays an important role in maintaining soil fertility. Since they can fix the atmospheric nitrogen, the soil fertility is well maintained and crop productivity can be enhanced by the availability of all types of minerals to the plants for their growth and sustainment, reproduction, etc., which fixes atmospheric nitrogen and solubilize the insoluble, unavailable form of phosphate into soluble and available form of phosphate. And it also has a greater role in decomposing farm wastes. Since soil contains abundance of organic waste which are in complex in nature, so they have to be converted into simple inorganic form by the biological process. These microorganisms play a very important role because it has the capability of converting all these complex organic substances into simple inorganic substances, and it makes all the nutrients available to the plants. So the growing plants can get all types of nutrients in the required quantity. What is this BGA? BGA stands for blue-green algae. Everyone knows about blue-green algae. Blue-green algae belongs to the class Cyanophyceae. It is a free-living, nitrogen-fixing microorganism which is predominant in submerged rice soil. So this paddy field is a very good or ideal environment for the growth of blue-green algae. And this blue-green algae can contribute approximately 25 to 30 kg of nitrogen per hectare to the growing paddy. So the farmers who can cultivate this paddy cannot depend on, or no need to depend on, chemical fertilizers. Instead, we can go with this blue-green algae. When you go with chemical fertilizers, these chemical fertilizers only provide nitrogen in the form of nitrates and phosphate and other types of fertilizers alone. But when you go for blue-green algae, it not only provides the nitrogen, phosphate and other, but it also secretes vitamins like vitamin B12, auxin, which is a plant growth hormone, ascorbic acid and other types of accessories which provide a most congenial atmosphere as well as all types of nutrients or accessory nutrients makes the plant to grow faster, and the quality of the products obtained from the plant is also higher. It's the most efficient source of organic nitrogen. Blue-green algae is said to be the efficient source of organic nitrogen because it fixes atmospheric nitrogen. Since we know very well the atmospheric nitrogen contains 79% of nitrogen in the form of gas that cannot be utilized by the growing plants. Since plants depend on all these types of microorganisms which are present in the soil, one among them is blue-green algae. So since this blue-green algae fixes atmospheric nitrogen with the help of the enzymes present in it through biological process and convert it into usable form of nitrogen as nitrate, nitrite, etc., ammonia, etc. In addition, it improves physical conditions of the soil. Since the soil structure is a combination of different types of factors like soil air, soil temperature, soil microbial population, etc., all these can be well maintained by this blue-green algae. So addition of blue-green algae can not only provide all these simple nitrogen in the form of nitrate, but also all types of accessories and other types of nutrients. Nature of blue-green algae. Blue-green algae is normally single-celled, which are primitive, and sometimes they are branch or unbranched filaments. Blue-green algae, there are number of genera, and number of genera of blue-green algae can be used as a biofertilizers, like single-celled or branched filaments or unbranched filaments, etc. Some of them have heterocyst. What is this heterocyst? Heterocyst is a cell where the atmospheric nitrogen can be fixed. So example, nostoc, anabina, oscillatoria, tolipothrix, calothrix are some of the very good examples for blue-green algae. And this provides the most suitable conditions. Rice field provides the most congenial atmosphere for the growth of blue-green algae because the growth of blue-green algae required water and temperature, suitable temperature that will be provided by the rice field or paddy field. In more than 100 species of blue-green algae fix atmospheric nitrogen very effectively. It has been shown that 100 species of blue-green algae fixes atmospheric nitrogen efficiently, which can be used as a biofertilizers. A number of species, as I told you earlier, the genera like Tolipothrix, Anabina, Nostoc, Oscillatoria, Calothrix, abundant in tropical conditions that can be utilized as biofertilizers. Next, algal production technology. How do we cultivate this blue-green algae in our field condition or in enormous quantity? Blue-green algae can be produced in bulk, in larger quantity with ease or very easily when water is available and temperature is suitable. So these two are very important parameters by which we can cultivate this blue-green algae even in our field condition. So there are four methods by which we can successfully and effectively cultivate this blue-green algae. Number one, trough or tank method. So trough or tank method, for this method we need shallow trays which may be made up of iron, this most suitable container for growing this blue-green algae. So 2 meter height and 2 meter length and 3 meter breadth and 23 centimeter depth of shallow trays can be used for this purpose, and 8 to 10 kilogram of soil can be added, and 200 grams of phosphate, superphosphate has to be added along with the soil, and 10 to 15 centimeter height water level has to be maintained in those trough or shallow trays. You keep it as such for some time. So what happens? All the soil particles get settled in the bottom of the shallow trays, after which all these trays have to be taken and it is kept in open air and sunlight. After all the soil particles are completely settled at the bottom of the tray, we have to add 100 grams of algal mixture. So this algae in the form of a powder, blue-green algae, can be taken and it is sprinkled on the surface of the tray on the standing water. So what happens? Due to the presence of a most suitable temperature and availability of water, this blue-green algae started growing. When it grows, and it takes some time of 2 to 3 days or sufficient days after the complete growth of blue-green algae. So it forms a thick mat over the surface of the water, standing water. Once all this algal mat is completely developed, you can see the thick mat has appeared on the surface of the water. After which, once the growth is enough, you can keep it and allow it for drying of all the available water. Once water is dried, the algal flakes can be taken and it is cracked and dried for future use. Second is pit method. This pit method is very similar to the trough or tank method. But in this pit method, what happens? Instead of using shallow trays, so small farmers cannot spend much money for getting all these shallow trays, so they can go for digging a pit in their own field. Small pits are sufficient for this type of cultivation of blue-green algae. In the pit method, we can dig a small pits, and this pit has to be covered with polythene covers. So this can hold water for a longer period. So this method is similar to trough or tank method. Third method is field method. Field method, we need a larger pits. Field method can be utilized for a larger quantity of growing blue-green algae. So larger pits can be used, and this can be utilized for growing alga, similar to trough and tank method. Last one is nursery cum algal method. Nursery cum algal method, you can grow both paddy as well as your blue-green algae in one and the same field. So the appropriate parameters have to be maintained as water and temperature. So blue-green algae can be grown along with the paddy. So you can make use of the growing blue-green algae for the growth of paddy simultaneously. So we just conclude that to launch or for successful launching of the blue-green algae as a biofertilizer program, or it is a biofertilizer program of utilizing blue-green algae, we have to equip the farmers at the grassroots level, because farmers do not aware of all these. So we have to train, we have to provide some special training to the farmers to make use of such a wonderful blue-green algae as a biofertilizer. So the effective utilization of biofertilizer for different cropping system will not only provide the economical benefits to the paddy, but it also improve as well as maintain the soil fertility, which is very much essential nowadays, and maintaining the sustainability of the ecosystem. Sustainability or maintaining the ecosystem is also very essential nowadays. Hence, biofertilizer is a suitable alternative to the chemical fertilizers which is the need of this plant.